Hello, bedtime thinkers, and welcome to the Bedtime Discoveries. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Settle in, get comfortable, and let's take a slow, gentle journey together. Tonight, we'll explore a quiet wonder of nature. Why leaves change their colors each autumn, from deep greens to golden yellows, fiery oranges, and gentle reds. It is one of nature's most calming transformations, and together we'll drift through the science in a peaceful, dreamy way. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're listening from tonight and what time it is where you are. Feel free to share in the comments so we can see the many corners of the world joined together in this moment. And if you find comfort here, please gently press the like button and subscribe. It helps our little bedtime community grow, and it means so much. As we begin tonight's gentle journey, let us drift into quiet rhythm of the seasons. For most of the year, the trees stand tall and green, their leaves stretched wide toward the sun, capturing its warmth and light. But then, as summer reaches its end, something begins to shift. Softly, slowly, almost unnoticed at first. The air carries a faint coolness, the days lose a little of their brightness, and the nights linger longer. This gentle shortening of daylight is one of nature's most reliable signals. It whispers to every tree, in every forest and meadow, that change is coming. The trees do not rush, they do not resist. Instead, they prepare in their own quiet way for the long months of winter ahead. Imagine a forest in late summer. The leaves still green, but the sun no longer standing high above for hours and hours. The golden light of evening falls sooner. The shadows stretch farther. And beneath this shift, hidden in the cells of every leaf, an ancient clock begins to tick. It is not the ticking of minutes or hours, but a seasoned rhythm so old that even before humans walked the earth, the trees followed it. This is the magic of seasonal change. Not a sudden transformation, but a slow and graceful dance. Every tree, whether standing in a mountain valley or lining a quiet neighborhood street, listens to the same signal, the light of the sun. For millions of years, plants have used light as their guide. Light tells them when to grow, when to bloom, and when to rest. It is their calendar, written not on paper, but in the sky above. And as the days shorten in late summer, the leaves begin to receive a message, a gentle instruction that their busy season is ending. You might picture the leaves as little workers tirelessly capturing sunlight, turning it into food, and feeding the whole tree. During spring and summer, they are full of energy, buzzing with activity. But when the sunlight weakens and the days grow shorter, it is as if the tree leans down and says, softly, "Thank you, little leaves. It's time to rest now." This seasonal change is not only beautiful to us, it is essential for the survival of the tree. The cold months ahead would make keeping leaves too costly. Snow and ice would weigh them down. Freezing temperatures would damage their delicate structures. So, in its wisdom, the tree begins a slow process of letting go. Perhaps you've noticed how the first hints of color appear not all at once, but in small, scattered places. A single branch of gold among green, a patch of red by the roadside. These are the first whispers of autumn. The first signs of the trees have begun their quiet preparation. In this way, the magic of seasonal change is both a signal and a story. A signal from the earth to its trees, and a story that we as humans can watch unfold year after year. The fading of green, the rising of gold, the shimmer of red, all telling us that time itself is moving forward. Think of a child walking through crunchy leaves on a chilly morning. Think of an old village where lanterns glow against the red canopies above. Or think of yourself, perhaps, gazing out of a window, tea in hand, watching a tree that seems to glow against the soft gray of an autumn sky. These are the small miracles gifted to us by the simple shift of seasons. In the next part, we'll wander deeper into this transformation and discover how trees sense a coming change, not just through light, but through the air, the soil, and even their own inner clocks. For now, let yourself rest in this thought that every leaf you see in autumn is part of a great and timeless rhythm, the rhythm of the earth itself. As we drift deeper into this thought, let us imagine the forest once again, a quiet path lined with tall trees. The air is crisp and carries the faint scent of drying leaves. If you close your eyes, you might hear a rustle overhead, the sound of branches swaying gently, as if whispering to one another. How do the trees know that the time for change has arrived? How do they sense, without eyes, without calendars, that summer has ended and autumn has begun? The answer lies in light. The leaves on every branch are small marvels of nature, packed with cells that respond to the rhythm of the sun. Inside them, tiny pigments and proteins act like clocks, measuring how much light arrives each day. This is what scientists call photoperiodism, the ability of living things to sense the length of day and night. When the days grow shorter, the trees receive their signal. It's almost like a lullaby from the earth, telling them it is time to slow down. The chlorophyll, the pigment that makes leaves green, begins to fade, and the hidden colors, the yellows and oranges, begin to glow softly from within. But light alone does not carry the message. Temperature also plays its part. The gentle chill of autumn nights, combined with warm days, strengthens the signal. The tree begins to prepare for dormancy, a kind of peaceful sleep through the winter months. Imagine the tree as a great, quiet guardian. All through summer, it spreads its arms wide, feeding every root, every twig. But in autumn, it slowly draws its energy inward, storing food in its trunk and roots, preparing for the stillness of winter, when the winds are sharp and the snow is heavy. In many ways, the magic of seasonal change is like breathing. The earth takes a long, deep breath during spring and summer, filling itself with life, color, and growth. And then in autumn, it exhales, letting go, releasing the leaves one by one back to the soil so that it can rest and be ready to breathe in again when spring returns. There are old stories told by cultures around the world that echo this cycle. The ancient Greeks believed in Persephone, whose time in the underworld brought winter and whose return brought spring. The Celts celebrated Samhain, a time when a harvest ended, and the world prepared for the quiet of the dark season. Even in faraway lands, where snow never falls, people have long noticed how plants rest and renew in cycles. It is one of nature's most universal truths. The trees, in their quiet wisdom, remind us of something important. That change is not something to fear. It is a natural rhythm, as steady as the rising and setting of the sun. The green of spring, the fire of autumn, the stillness of winter, all are chapters of the same story. As you listen now, perhaps you can picture a single tree you know well, maybe one you pass each day, or one you remember from childhood. Think of how it looked in spring, with fresh new leaves. Think of it in summer, full and green. And now, picture in autumn, glowing with soft colors, gently letting go of each leaf. That tree is living out the same ancient rhythm, responding to the same signals, year after year. And while the tree rests, while it sheds and prepares, it is not ending, it is only pausing. For every leaf that falls, a new one will one day appear. Every ending carries a beginning within it. In the next part, we'll look even more closely at how this cycle is carefully timed, how the length of daylight, the coolness of night, and the chemistry within each leaf all combine to create the breathtaking shift we know as autumn. For now, let this thought rest softly in your mind, that every tree you see in autumn, every forest painted with color, is quietly listening to the same gentle music of the earth, the song of the seasons, the magic of change. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a wide forest. The air is cool. The sky is a soft gray, brushed with the golden light of early evening. Before you, countless trees stretch into the distance, each one preparing for autumn in its own quiet way. Some branches have only just begun to fade, while others already glow with the full warmth of yellow and red. This patchwork of change tells the story of time itself, passing gently over the land. What is truly magical is how perfectly tuned this transformation is. The leaves don't change randomly, nor do they all shift at once. Instead, each tree listens carefully to its own signals, a balance of sunlight, temperature, and internal chemistry, like instruments in an orchestra, playing together in harmony. As the days shorten, a cascade of changes begins inside the leaf. The cells at the base of each stem, called the abscission layer, begin to slowly close. This layer is like a doorway, controlling the flow of water and nutrients. As it closes, the leaf becomes cut off little by little from the rest of the tree, and this gentle separation is what allows the colors to emerge, and eventually the leaf to fall. It is not a violent process. It is not rushed or forced. Instead, it is slow, graceful, and inevitable. A leaf drifting to ground is not a sign of loss. It is the completion of a cycle, the fulfillment of the leaf's purpose, to feed the tree through summer, and then to return gently to the earth. If you have ever watched a single leaf fall, swirling and twirling on a breeze, you know how peaceful this moment can feel. It is as if the leaf is dancing its final steps before coming to rest on the soft ground below. Multiply this by thousands, by millions, and you have the great autumn symphony. The forest transforming, not in silence, but in whispers and rustles, as leaves drift down like golden rain. For animals, too, the change is a signal. Birds gather in flocks, preparing to fly south. Squirrels collect acorns, storing food for the long months ahead. Bears eat heartily, ready to settle into their winter dens. The entire ecosystem moves in rhythm with the trees, guided by the same seasonal clock. And for us, humans, autumn has always carried meaning. It is a season of harvest, of gathering what is grown. It is a season of reflection, as the year begins to draw to a close. In every culture, across time, autumn has been seen as both an ending and a beginning, an invitation to slow down, to rest, and prepare for what is to come. Think of the festivals of light, celebrated as the days grow shorter. Think of the gatherings of families, sharing food as the air grows colder. Think of the quiet walks, when you hear the crunch of leaves beneath your feet and feel the calm beauty of change all around you. These are the gifts of seasonal change, not only for the trees, but for us as well. And perhaps in your own life, you have felt seasons of change too. Moments where something familiar ended, but something new was waiting quietly just beyond the horizon. The trees remind us, gently, that such changes are natural. That letting go can be as beautiful as holding on. That rest is as important as growth, and that nothing, not even winter, lasts forever. When spring comes again, the trees will awaken. New leaves will unfurl, green will return. But for now, in autumn, they rest in their colors, glowing softly against the fading light. It is a reminder to us to rest as well, to honor the cycles within ourselves, and to find peace in change. Imagine, if you will, holding a leaf in your hand in the bright days of summer. It looks green, vibrant, alive, as though green is its one and only true color. But the truth is that green is only a mask, a cloak, hiding what lies beneath. For inside every leaf, even on the warmest day in July, other colors are waiting quietly unseen, but never absent. This is one of nature's gentle secrets. Leaves do not become yellow or orange in autumn. Those colors were there all along. They were simply covered by the rich green pigment of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is so strong, so dominant, that it hides the softer pigments beneath. But when the days shorten and chlorophyll fades away, the hidden hues finally have their chance to shine. It is as if the leaf is revealing its inner self. After months of wearing green, it now shows the golden yellows of carotenoids, or the warm orange glow that was there all along. And for us, it feels like a transformation, a magical change before our very eyes. But in truth, the leaf is simply uncovering what it always carried inside. Think of it as layers of a painting. The green brushstrokes lie thick on top, vibrant and bold. Yet beneath them are delicate shades, quiet yellows, gentle oranges. When the top layer fades, the hidden artwork beneath is revealed. The tree becomes a gallery of colors, each leaf showing us a secret masterpiece. This hidden world of pigments is not unique to leaves. Nature often works in layers, concealing one shade beneath another. Consider a seashell, pale on the outside, but glowing pink or violet within. Or think of the sky at dusk, blue through the day, yet carrying the fire of sunset within it, waiting for the right moment to appear. So, too, with leaves, the colors of autumn are always present, waiting for their moment to glow. The science of this lies in pigments called carotenoids. They are responsible for the golden tones in corn, the bright yellow of sunflowers, and even the color of carrots. Inside the leaf, carotenoids are present all along. But in summer, the overwhelming green of chlorophyll covers them from view. Only when the chlorophyll fades in autumn do the carotenoids step into the light. And so, when we gaze upon a forest that glows with gold and amber, we are not only seeing change, we are also seeing revelation. The trees are showing us what was hidden, what was always within them. It is a gentle reminder, perhaps, that much of beauty is hidden from plain sight, waiting for its moment to be revealed. Think back, maybe, to your own childhood memories of autumn. Perhaps you remember walking down a tree-lined street when the leaves first began to change. One day, the trees were green, and the next, they seemed to glow with a secret fire, as though they had transformed overnight. The wonder of that moment stays with us, not just because of the colors, but because of surprise. The hidden suddenly revealed. Let us drift back to that summer leaf, still green, still alive with chlorophyll. If you could look through a magnifying glass and peer into the cells of that leaf, you would see tiny compartments called chloroplasts. Inside them, chlorophyll works tirelessly, capturing light from the sun, using it to power the tree. It is so strong, so abundant, that its green overshadows every other color. But tucked alongside it quietly, patiently, are the carotenoids. These carotenoids do not compete. They do not push themselves forward. Instead, they wait. They serve their purpose, helping in small ways, supporting the process of photosynthesis. But their colors, the yellows and oranges, remain hidden, veiled beneath the green. It is almost as if the leaf is holding a secret, like a friend who has a gentle smile hidden behind serious eyes, or a book that, at first glance, seems simple but carries treasures within its pages. The true colors are there, but only revealed when the time is right. When autumn arrives and the chlorophyll begins to break down, the balance shifts, the green curtain lifts, and the carotenoids step into the light. Suddenly, what was once hidden becomes the star of the show. The leaf seems transformed, yet nothing new has been added, only uncovered. Isn't it a curious thing, how often beauty lies quietly beneath the surface? The trees teach us this lesson every year, that even in the ordinary, in the everyday green of summer, something extraordinary is waiting. The colors of autumn are not sudden magic. They are gentle revelations of what was always there. In a way, it is like a person's character. You may know someone for years, thinking you see all there is to see, and then one day they show you a side of themselves that feels new, surprising, and beautiful. But in truth, that part of them was always there, simply waiting for its season to shine. This is what the hidden pigments remind us, that nature holds more than meets the eye, and that time, patience, and change can reveal depths we did not know existed. Consider also how universal carotenoids are. They are not only in leaves. They give us the orange of pumpkins, the yellow of bananas, the rich color of corn. When we see these autumn foods on our tables, glowing with warmth, we are also seeing the very same pigments that lie inside the leaves above us. The hidden colors are not confined to trees. They are part of a greater pattern, woven throughout nature. Imagine a walk through an orchard in autumn, golden apples hanging from branches, pumpkins resting the fields, glowing like lanterns, and above, the trees turning yellow and orange in harmony. It is as if the entire landscape is speaking the same language of color. The carotenoids, once hidden, now joined together to paint the world in shades of gold. So the next time you see a leaf turning yellow or orange, think of the secret it has carried all summer long. Think of the quiet patience of that hidden pigment, waiting for its time to shine. And think, perhaps, of what might be hidden within yourself. Strengths, hopes, or beauty, quietly waiting for the right season to emerge. Now, let us wander a little deeper into the forest of thought. The hidden colors of leaves are more than pigments, more than chemistry. They are part of a story of balance, of timing, and of beauty revealed only when the moment is right. If you look closely at a forest in autumn, you'll notice that not all trees reveal their hidden colors at the same time. Some shift early, glowing gold in late September. Others hold their green well into October, waiting longer before letting their secret show. And within a single tree, one branch may blush orange, while another stays green for days more. This patchwork, this mosaic of colors, is not random. It is the unfolding of hidden layers, each on its own quiet schedule. Scientists tell us that the strength of these hidden pigments can vary from leaf to leaf. Some carry more carotenoids, ready to shine brightly. Others hold less, fading quietly into paler shades. It is as if each leaf carries its own personality, its own way of revealing what lies within. But beyond the science, there is something poetic in this hidden beauty, a reminder that what we see on the surface is not always the whole truth. The green of summer, though strong and dominant, is only part of the story. The yellows, the oranges, the hidden colors beneath remind us that there's always more to discover if we wait and watch closely enough. Think of the way a dear friend might surprise you. Someone you thought you knew completely suddenly reveals a hidden talent, a kindness, a depth you had not seen before. And you realize there were always more than what you noticed at first glance. So too with the leaves, so too with the trees. In some ways, autumn is a tree's way of showing us their quiet honesty. The green veil lifted, the true hues revealed. And though the colors are fleeting, lasting only a few weeks before the leaves fall, their beauty lingers in our memory. They teach us that hidden beauty, when revealed, can be all the more precious because it is brief. Perhaps this is why people travel miles to see autumn forests, to walk beneath canopies of gold and fire, to witness nature's revelation, brief but breathtaking. It is a pilgrimage of sorts, a journey to see what has been hidden all year, now uncovered in its full glory. Even in your own life, you may find moments where something hidden is revealed, a truth about yourself or about someone you love. These moments can be like autumn leaves, sudden, surprising, and filled with color. And though they may pass, they remain etched in your heart, like a memory of forest glowing at sunset. So the next time you see a tree shedding its summer green and uncovering its hidden golds and oranges, pause for a moment and let the thoughts settle. That beauty is not always immediate. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it lives quietly beneath the surface until the right season arrives. And when it does, when it finally shines, it reminds us of the depth and richness hidden in all living things, in trees, in people, in ourselves. Let us turn now to the pigment that has shaped our world more than almost any other. The pigment that makes leaves green, that powers the trees, and that, in many ways, makes life on Earth possible. Chlorophyll. When you look at a green leaf in summer, you are really looking at chlorophyll in action. Each tiny cell of the leaf is filled with chloroplasts, little structures that contain this remarkable pigment. And what chlorophyll does is nothing short of extraordinary. It captures the energy of sunlight and turns it into food. Through a process called photosynthesis, chlorophyll allows the tree to take light from the sun, water from the soil, and carbon dioxide from the air, and transform them into sugar, into energy, into life itself. Without chlorophyll, there would be no forests, no fields of grass, no gardens blooming with flowers. Without it, we would not have the oxygen-rich air we breathe. For in the very act of making food for itself, the leaf releases oxygen as a gift to the world around it. Each breath you take now is touched by the work of chlorophyll. But in summer, when it is strong and abundant, chlorophyll's green is so powerful that it hides every other pigment inside the leaf. The yellows, the oranges, even the potential for reds, all are cloaked beneath the deep green glow. To us, the tree seems uniform, a sea of green stretching across the landscape. But inside, chlorophyll is only one player, one voice in a quiet choir of pigments. Still, it is the most important voice. Chlorophyll is like the conductor of the leaf's orchestra, guiding the process of photosynthesis, keeping the entire system running smoothly. And when the sunlight is plentiful, chlorophyll works tirelessly, hour after hour, day after day, capturing light and turning it into nourishment. Think for a moment of a summer afternoon, the sun high in the sky, golden light pouring down. A tree spreads its branches wide, each leaf quietly drinking in the sunlight. Though we cannot hear it, cannot see it directly, a great work is taking place. Billions of chlorophyll molecules absorbing energy, transforming it, passing it along through the tree. The tree grows taller, stronger, storing energy for the seasons to come. And all of this life flows from the quiet work of chlorophyll. It is humbling to think that something so small, a single pigment molecule, holds such power that it has shaped the history of the earth. For billions of years ago, long before humans, long before animals, even before complex plants, chlorophyll was already at work. Early microbes in the oceans developed the ability to capture sunlight with chlorophyll, and slowly they filled the atmosphere with oxygen, changing the planet forever, making it possible for animals, and eventually humans, to exist. So when you look at a green leaf in summer, you are not just looking at the present. You are looking at history. You are looking at the pigment that transformed a barren world into one full of life. You are looking at the quiet green miracle that sustains us still. Now let us lean in closer, closer to the leaf, closer still to the tiny structures within it, and imagine, if you can, what is happening at the smallest scale. Inside every green leaf are thousands upon thousands of chloroplasts, and within each chloroplast are countless molecules of chlorophyll. They rest within delicate membranes, perfectly positioned to capture the rays of sunlight that fall upon the leaf. When sunlight touches a leaf, it is not wasted, it is not ignored. The chlorophyll molecules absorb the light, like tiny solar panels. But they are selective. They absorb mostly the red and blue parts of sunlight, leaving behind the green. And this is why leaves appear green to our eyes. The green light is reflected, scattered outward, painting the world with the color of life. But inside the leaf, the absorbed light becomes energy, a burst of power that excites the electrons within chlorophyll, setting them into motion. This energy is passed along a chain of molecules, like sparks jumping from one to the next. And as it moves, it is captured, stored, transformed into the energy that powers photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, the quiet miracle of life. With light as its fuel, the leaf takes in water, drawn up from the roots, and carbon dioxide, drifting in from the air. Through a series of elegant reactions, the leaf creates glucose, sugar, food for the tree, and as a gentle gift, it releases oxygen back into the air, oxygen that fills our lungs, oxygen that sustains us. Every bite of food you have ever eaten, every breath you have ever taken, is tied, in some way, to the work of chlorophyll. It is the foundation of nearly every food chain, every ecosystem. A quiet worker, unseen but always there. Think of a field of grass in summer, millions upon millions of blades, each one alive with chlorophyll together. They capture sunlight, feeding not only themselves, but the cows that graze upon them, the birds that nest among them, and the insects that crawl beneath them, and through those chains, eventually feeding us as well. All life connected by the green thread of chlorophyll. And yet, as mighty as chlorophyll is, it is also delicate. It requires steady sunlight, warmth, and balance to thrive. As the days grow shorter in autumn and the nights grow cooler, chlorophyll begins to weaken. The molecules break down, and the tree does not replace them, for the tree is turning inward now, preparing for rest. And without new chlorophyll, the green begins to fade. It is here, in this fading, that the other pigments begin to shine. The carotenoids, the anthocyanins, the hidden colors that we spoke of earlier, but it all begins with chlorophyll. It is its departure, its gentle fading away, that allows the grand reveal of autumn's palette. There is a kind of poetry in this. The green pigment that gives life also knows when to step aside. It does not cling. It does not hold on forever. It serves its purpose through spring and summer. And when the time comes, it quietly withdraws, allowing other colors to glow. Perhaps there's a lesson here, whispered softly by the leaves, that sometimes stepping back allows others to shine, that letting go can reveal hidden beauty, that even in fading there is grace. Chlorophyll is more than just a pigment. It is a storyteller, whispering the tale of the seasons to us, in shades of green, and in its absence, in the brilliant colors that follow. In spring, chlorophyll awakens, as if from a long, deep sleep. The bare branches of winter slowly unfurl new leaves, tender and pale at first. Within them, chlorophyll begins to rise, filling the tiny cells with green. As the sun grows warmer, the pigment grows stronger, and the trees cloak themselves in lush canopies. It is a season of growth, of renewal, carried on the shoulders of chlorophyll. In summer, chlorophyll stands at its peak. Every leaf glows with rich green, as though the trees have dressed themselves in emeralds. The pigment works tirelessly, capturing sunlight, feeding the tree, storing energy in every fiber. The forests hum quietly with this invisible labor. Chlorophyll is a heartbeat of summer, steady and sure. But in autumn, the story begins to shift. The days shorten, the air cools, and the tree senses the coming change. Slowly, chlorophyll begins to break down. It is not sudden, but gradual, a soft retreat. As it fades, the hidden pigments, the golds, the oranges, the reds, emerge like jewels beneath the green veil. The tree does not fight this process. Instead, it allows the green to dissolve, and in doing so, creates the breathtaking beauty of fall. It is a cycle that repeats each year: birth in spring, strength in summer, fading in autumn, and rest in winter. And at the heart of it always is chlorophyll. It is the quiet thread that ties the seasons together. What makes this cycle so remarkable is that chlorophyll is not wasted. As the molecules break down, their valuable elements, nitrogen, magnesium, are withdrawn by the tree, stored safely in the roots and branches. They will be used again when spring returns. Even in leaving, chlorophyll gives back, ensuring the next cycle of growth. There is something comforting in this rhythm, the knowledge that endings are never truly endings, that the green we lose in autumn is not gone forever. It simply rests, recycles, prepares for another beginning. And perhaps, as we walk beneath the trees in autumn, watching the leaves blaze in gold and crimson, we can remember the hidden work of chlorophyll, the unseen labor that sustained the tree, that fed the world, that gifted us oxygen and beauty. We can carry that gratitude with us, like a soft warmth, even as the green fades away. Chlorophyll, the pigment that paints the world with life, a quiet miracle, always working, always giving, and even in its fading, teaching us about cycles, about renewal, about grace. After the deep greens of chlorophyll, there lies another family of pigments, quieter, softer, but always present. These are the carotenoids. Unlike chlorophyll, which rises and falls with the seasons, carotenoids are there all along, hidden beneath the green, waiting patiently, waiting for their time to be seen. In summer, their golden glow is masked by chlorophyll's dominance. But as the green fades in autumn, carotenoids step forward, painting the leaves in shades of yellow, amber, and soft orange. When you walk beneath a maple tree in October, or see a birch grove shining like liquid gold in the autumn sun. You are seeing carotenoids revealed, the pigments that have been there all along, now glowing freely in the absence of green. Carotenoids are not just about beauty, though. They play a role in protecting the leaf, even in summer. While chlorophyll captures energy, carotenoids help absorb excess light, preventing damage to the delicate machinery of photosynthesis. They're like guardians, quietly shielding the leaf from harm, while also lending their golden hues to the story of autumn. Think of the way carrots glow with orange, or corn kernels shine with yellow, or pumpkins gleam in the fields, round and bright. All of these, too, are colored by carotenoids, the same pigments that rest quietly in the leaves of trees, waiting for their season of brilliance. There's a softness to carotenoids. Unlike the fiery reds of anthocyanins, they bring warmth without intensity. They light the forest with a gentle golden glow, like sunlight captured and stored in the leaves themselves. Walking through an autumn grove touched by carotenoids feels like stepping into a dream of light and warmth. And in this way, they remind us that beauty can exist quietly, even when unseen, that sometimes our true colors are revealed not in the height of growth, but in the quiet of change. Carotenoids are patient, and their patience rewards us each year with a golden gift. Let us imagine now that we shrink down smaller and smaller until we're inside the cell of a leaf. Here, in the quiet spaces of the chloroplast, we find carotenoids resting side by side with chlorophyll. Long, elegant molecules, often shades of yellow and orange, tucked gently into membranes where photosynthesis takes place. In summer, chlorophyll is abundant, and it overshadows everything else. Its deep green is bold and strong, hiding the softer golden pigments within. But even when unseen, carotenoids are busy. They play an essential role in protecting the delicate machinery of photosynthesis. You see, sunlight is powerful, too powerful sometimes. If a leaf absorbs more light than it can use, that energy can become harmful, damaging the cells. And here, carotenoids step in. They act like gentle regulators, soaking up excess light, dissipating it safely, preventing harm. In this way, carotenoids are not only pigments of beauty, but pigments of protection. There are many different kinds of carotenoids. Some give the golden yellows we see in birch and aspen leaves. Others lend deeper orange hues, like those glowing sugar maples or hickory trees. Beta-carotene, perhaps the most familiar, is the pigment that makes carrots orange. And yes, when we eat foods rich in carotenoids, our bodies transform them into vitamin A, a vitamin that keeps our vision strong, our immune system steady, and our health supported. So carotenoids connect us not just to the beauty of the forest, but to our own well-being. The same pigments that make autumn leaves glow are in the fruits and vegetables we eat, nourishing us from within. But in autumn, something magical happens. As chlorophyll breaks down, the golden pigments step quietly into the light. They did not suddenly appear. They were always there. But now, finally, they are visible. The forest turns golden, like sunlight scattered across the trees. And we realize that beauty was always hidden within the leaves, simply waiting for the right time to shine. Perhaps there is a lesson here, too, that sometimes the truest colors are revealed not in moments of abundance, but in moments of transition. That hidden strengths can wait patiently and then glow brilliantly when the time is right. Carotenoids remind us of gentle persistence, of quiet resilience, of colors that do not force themselves forward, but emerge naturally when their season has come. Carotenoids do not belong only to the trees. Their golden touch extends far beyond the forest, into fields, into rivers, into oceans, even into the creatures that live among them. Think first of the harvest. Pumpkins glowing orange in the fields, corn shimmering yellow in the sun, tomatoes, peppers, and squashes, carrying within them the same pigments that rest in the leaves of autumn. These foods bring us warmth and nourishment, because carotenoids are not only colors, but nutrients. When we eat them, they protect our eyes, strengthen our immunity, and keep our bodies resilient. So when you taste a carrot or bite into a golden mango, you are, in a way, tasting the same pigments that paint the forest in October. But carotenoids reach even further. Consider the oceans, vast and blue. Within them float countless microscopic algae, rich in carotenoids. These tiny organisms capture sunlight, much like leaves on land, and they feed entire marine ecosystems. The golden pigments in plankton become food for fish, and those fish, in turn, nourish seabirds, whales, and eventually, even us, from the forest floor to the open sea. Carotenoids carry the glow of sunlight to the web of life. And what of animals? The flamingo, with its delicate pink feathers, owes its color to carotenoids in the shrimp and algae it eats. The bright orange breast of a robin or the vibrant hues of tropical birds often come from these same pigments, passed from plant to insect, from insect to bird. Carotenoids do not stop with plants. They ripple outward, weaving beauty into the animal kingdom too. In this way, carotenoids are storytellers of connection. They remind us that the glow of autumn leaves is not isolated, but part of a vast cycle of light and life. The same pigments that protect a leaf from too much sun, nourish the food we eat, color the feathers of birds, and give radiance to the world around us. And when we return to the forest in autumn, walking beneath the golden canopy, we can remember that what we see above is part of something much larger, a quiet, golden thread that stretches across the earth, linking tree to soil, soil to food, food to creature, and creature back to the forest. Carotenoids, gentle, patient, radiant, always present, always giving, stepping into the light when the green fades, reminding us of hidden beauty, of nourishment, of connection. If carotenoids are the quiet golden light of autumn, then anthocyanins are the fire, the deep reds, the purples, the crimson flames that set forests aglow when the air turns crisp. Unlike carotenoids, anthocyanins are not always present in the leaf. They are special pigments, created anew in autumn as the tree prepares for rest. When the green of chlorophyll fades and the hidden gold is revealed, the tree begins to produce anthocyanins. And suddenly, the forest burns with shades of scarlet, burgundy, violet, and wine. Walk beneath a maple tree in late October, and you will see them blazing, bright reds that seem to catch the last rays of the sun and hold them close, soft purples that deepen in the shadows, mysterious and rich. It is as if the forest takes one final, passionate breath before the quiet of winter. The story of anthocyanins is different from that of chlorophyll and carotenoids. They are not essential for photosynthesis, not a tool for energy, not hidden all summer long. They are a response, a choice almost that trees make in the changing season. Scientists believe anthocyanins may act as protection, shielding leaves from excess light as they withdraw nutrients, or helping the tree recover as much as it can before the leaf falls. Others think they may deter insects or guard against the stress of cold nights. But beyond the science, there is mystery. Why do some trees create these pigments, while others do not? Why do some autumns blaze with red, while others lean toward gold? These questions still linger, as though the forest keeps a secret to itself. And yet, whether for protection or for beauty, or for reasons still unknown, anthocyanins give us some of the most breathtaking scenes of the natural world. Whole hillsides glowing red in the autumn sun. Single leaves lit like jewels against the forest floor. The quiet fire of anthocyanins, warming the cool days of fall. To understand anthocyanins more closely, let us step once again into the life of the leaf. As autumn approaches, the days grow shorter, the sunlight weaker, and the nights cooler. The tree, sensing the change, begins to prepare. It slowly withdraws valuable nutrients from its leaves, nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, pulling them down into the roots and trunk for safekeeping. At the same time, chlorophyll begins to fade, and the green slips quietly away. It is during this moment of change, when the balance of light and temperature shifts, that anthocyanins are born. Unlike carotenoids, which are always present, anthocyanins are newly made. Sugars trapped in the leaves combine with sunlight and cool temperatures, giving rise to these striking pigments. The chemistry is delicate, too much warmth, and the reds may be dull, too much cloud, and the purples may never come. But when the balance is just right, bright days, cool nights, the anthocyanins flood the leaves with brilliance. These pigments are unique in another way. Their colors are not fixed, but sensitive. The very environment of the leaf, its acidity, its cellular conditions, can shift the hue. In one tree, anthocyanins may glow scarlet. In another, crimson or violet. Even within a single leaf, the shades can change, deepening near the veins, softening at the edges, glowing brighter where sunlight strikes. It is as though each leaf paints itself in its own unique way. Scientists continue to study the reasons behind this phenomenon. Some believe anthocyanins protect the leaf during its final days, shielding from excess light, so the tree can reclaim more nutrients before letting go. Others suggest they guard against cold damage, or even act as a warning to insects, saying, "This leaf is strong, not worth chewing." And still others think the reds may simply be a byproduct of the sugars trapped within a final transformation before the leaf drifts to the ground. Whatever the reason, the result is one of nature's greatest displays. A hillside blazing with red maples in late October, a grove of dogwoods, glowing purple at the edge of a field, the deep burgundy of an oak, standing quiet and strong as autumn deepens. These colors are not just pigments. They are moments, memories, emotions. They touch us deeply, stirring feelings of warmth, nostalgia, and awe. And perhaps part of the magic is in the uncertainty. The fact that no two autumns are ever the same. Some years the reds are dazzling, fiery, unforgettable. Other years, they are softer, more muted, blending gently into golds and browns. The forest changes with the weather, with the light, with the subtle rhythm of the season. And so, each autumn is a gift, fleeting, unique, never be repeated exactly the same. Anthocyanins, the pigment of autumn fire. They are more than chemistry, more than light and sugar and cells. They are symbols woven into the cycle of the seasons, carrying meanings as deep as their colors. Think of the way the reds appear just as the trees are preparing to let go. The leaves are nearing the end of their time, soon to fall, soon to rest upon the forest floor. And yet in these final days, they do not fade quietly into brown. They blaze, as though the tree gives them one last burst of brilliance, a final act of beauty before surrendering them to the wind. There is something profoundly human in this, a reminder that endings can also be moments of radiance. that the close of one chapter may shine even brighter than its beginning. The reds and purples of anthocyanins tell us that beauty does not vanish. When change comes, it transforms. Cultures across the world have noticed this. Poets have written of scarlet maples as symbols of passion and impermanence. Artists have painted autumn forests as landscapes of fire, glowing against a cool sky. Even today, people travel miles just to walk among the red trees, to breathe in their colors, to let themselves be wrapped in the emotion of a season. But beyond symbolism, anthocyanins are also storytellers of resilience. They remind us that the tree does not waste its final days of the season. Even as it prepares for winter's stillness, it shields itself, gathers what it can, and paints the world in hues that stir the soul. It is a way of saying, even in letting go, there is strength and there is grace. And then the leaves fall. They drift softly to the ground, crimson and violet against the forest floor. There, they begin their next task, breaking down, returning nutrients to the soil, feeding the roots of the trees, feeding new life to come. Even in death, the colors serve, the pigments fade into the earth, and the cycle continues. So the reds of autumn are not just fleeting beauty. They are part of the eternal rhythm, part of the story that connects one season to the next. They are fire, they are farewell, they are renewal. And when you stand beneath a maple, its canopy glowing red against the autumn sky, perhaps you can feel it too, that the beauty of endings, the strength in change, the quiet promise of renewal are all held within those burning leaves. Anthocyanins, pigment of passion, of mystery, of transition, the fire of autumn, reminding us that even in fading, there can be brilliance. Behind every golden leaf, every crimson flame, every fading green, there are two great artists at work, temperature and sunlight. These forces, though invisible, paint the forest each autumn. They decide how bright the colors will be, how long they will last, and what shades will glow most strongly. The same tree, in different years, can look entirely different, and much of this depends on the dance between warmth, cold, light, and shadow. Think of sunlight first. Throughout summer, long days of light fuel the work of chlorophyll, keeping the leaves richly green. But as autumn approaches, the days grow shorter. The angle of the sun shifts, the strength of its rays softens, and the light changes in quality. This subtle shift signals the trees. The season of growth is ending. The time of rest is near. The fading sunlight triggers the breakdown of chlorophyll, revealing the hidden pigments beneath. And then comes temperature. Cool nights, gentle but firm, add their influence to the leaves. When the days are sunny and the nights are cool, but not freezing, the colors become their brightest. Sugars trapped in the leaves combine with the cool air to produce anthocyanins, deepening the reds and purples. Carotenoids glow more strongly when the nights are crisp and the days still bright. The balance of warmth and cold is like a brushstroke, guiding the intensity of the palette. But if nights are too warm, the reds may be faint. If days are cloudy, the golds and oranges less vibrant. And if frost comes too soon, the leaves may turn brown quickly, cutting short the brilliance. So each autumn, the colors we see are not just the work of the trees, but the story of that season's weather, a unique signature, never exactly the same twice. Perhaps you have noticed this in your own walks through autumn. One year the hillsides blaze with scarlet and gold, unforgettable in their richness. Another year, the colors are softer, more muted, fading quickly into brown. The trees are the same, but the weather writes a new script each time. This is why autumn feels so precious, because it is fleeting, yes, but also because it is never repeated. Each year's colors are a once-in-a-lifetime gift, born of sunlight and air, warmth and chill, sky and season. To see how deeply sunlight and temperature guide the season, let's look at the pigments one by one. For each responds differently to the changing air, the shifting light, the gentle decline of summer into fall. Chlorophyll, the green of summer, depends most on light. When the days grow shorter, when the angle of the sun lowers in the sky, the tree no longer produces chlorophyll in abundance. The green fades, not because it is destroyed all at once, but because it is no longer replaced. The soft decline of light brings a soft fading of green. Carotenoids, those golden pigments, are steadier. They are always there, hidden beneath the green, but their glow depends on the balance of light and temperature too. In bright days, when the sun still shines strongly, carotenoids reflect the light like gold. But in dim, cloudy weeks, they appear softer, less radiant, more pale. The light does not create them, but it determines how much they sparkle before our eyes. And anthocyanins, the fiery reds and purples, these depend most delicately on the pairing of sun and cool air. Warm days allow the leaves to continue creating sugars, while cool nights trap those sugars within. Together, these conditions trigger the birth of anthocyanins, which paint the trees with crimson and wine. Without that balance, the reds are faint or absent, too warm, and the leaves drift straight to brown, too cold, too early, and frost into colors before they have time to glow. So when you see a hillside burning with scarlet maples, you are really seeing the story of its weather, the rhythm of bright days and cool nights, written and read upon the trees. The colors are not only the work of the tree itself, but the air, the sky, the season surrounding it. This is why autumn is never predictable. A summer of drought may dull the leaves, for the trees are already stressed. A sudden frost may strip them bare before the colors fully ripen. And yet, in the right conditions, warm, sunny days and crisp, cool nights, the forests light up with a brilliance that feels almost magical. There is wonder in this unpredictability, because it means each autumn is unique. No two forests, no 2 years, no 2 sunsets through the branches will ever look exactly the same. The colors you see one season are yours alone, a fleeting gift that belongs to that moment in time. When we think of autumn, we often imagine the leaves alone, but the influence of sunlight and temperature is far wider. It is the soft air you breathe on a cool morning, the slant of golden light in late afternoon, the stillness that settles as the year tilts toward winter. The creatures of the forest feel it too. Birds sense the shortening days and prepare for migration. Animals grow thicker coats as the nights cool. Squirrels gather acorns, moving quickly beneath the falling leaves. The rhythm of sunlight and temperature guides not just the trees, but the entire forest community, each species responding in its own quiet way. Even the soil is touched. As leaves change and fall, they return nutrients to the earth, where microbes stir in response to the cool, damp air. The cycle of life slows but deepens, preparing the ground for winter's sleep. For humans, too, these shifts bring change. The lower sun casts long shadows, turning familiar paths into places of mystery and beauty. The crispness in the air carries with it a sense of clarity, as though the world sharpens in the cool light. And the glowing leaves, brighter in years when sunlight and temperature find their perfect balance, remind us of both the impermanence and the richness of the seasons. Imagine yourself on such a day, the sky a clear, deep blue after a night of gentle chill, the sun rising, soft but strong, lighting the forest canopy above you. Each leaf glowing like stained glass, reds and golds illuminated against the sky. The air cool against your cheeks, but warmed by the afternoon sun. This is the gift of the balance between day and night, warmth and cold. A fleeting perfection that lasts only for a short while, and then passes into memory. It is easy to forget, in the rush of daily life, that such beauty depends on the simplest forces: the tilt of the earth, the fading of light, the shift of air from warm to cool. But the trees remember, the forest remembers, and in their changing colors, they show us the rhythm of the world, a rhythm older than any of us, yet new with each passing year. And so, as autumn moves quietly forward, guided by the invisible hands of sunlight and temperature, the trees paint their final masterpiece before winter, a canvas of gold and crimson, signed by the season itself. Not all trees tell the story of autumn in the same way. Some whisper in gold, others sing in scarlet, and some remain quiet, fading softly to brown. The forest is not one voice, but a chorus, each species adding its own note to the song of fall. Consider the maple, perhaps the most celebrated of all. Its leaves burn with anthocyanins, creating fiery reds and deep purples that seem to set the hillside alight. When you think of autumn postcards or a road winding through glowing forests, it is often the maple you are picturing, a tree whose brilliance has become a symbol of the season itself. Then there is the birch, slender and graceful, with bark pale as winter moonlight, its leaves shimmering yellow, almost trembling as a cool breeze passes through. When the birch glows golden, it seems as though the forest is filled with tiny lanterns, swaying gently in the wind. Oaks, on the other hand, take a slower path. Their leaves turn not to gold or scarlet at once, but to deep, earthy tones, russet, bronze, and wine. The oaks hold their leaves long into the season, even into winter sometimes, their faded colors clinging as though reluctant to let go. Where maples blaze quickly and fall, oaks endure steady and strong, carrying the memory of autumn far into the cold. Aspens, too, are remarkable, entire groves turning golden together, as though the trees share one great, shimmering soul. The sight of an aspen forest in autumn is unforgettable. The sound of thousands of leaves quivering in the breeze, a sea of yellow light rippling through the mountains. And then there are the evergreens, pines, spruces, firs. They do not join the autumn chorus in the same way, for their needles remain green through the snow, yet they provide the perfect contrast, the deep, steady greens against which the colors of other trees shine more brightly. Without the dark frame of the pines, the golds and reds might not seem so brilliant. Each tree tells its own story, each species adding a different color, a different rhythm, a different voice. Together, they create the great symphony of autumn, a harmony that would not be the same if even one part were missing. The differences among tree species are not only in the colors we see. They are rooted in biology, in chemistry, in the quiet decisions each tree makes as the season turns. Maples, for example, produce anthocyanins in abundance. This is why they are among the brightest red trees in autumn. Their leaves trap sugars as nights grow cool, and those sugars help generate the deep pigments that blaze like fire. But even among maples, there are differences. Sugar maples glow with brilliant orange and red, while silver maples tend towards softer yellows. Each branch, each variety, holds its own subtle shade within the greater family. Birches, by contrast, lean more on carotenoids. They do not often turn red, but instead shimmer golden as chlorophyll fades. This golden glow is steady, simple, and bright, reflecting the purity of the carotenoid pigments that were there all along. Their delicate leaves, small and thin, seem to catch the sunlight and scatter it like flakes of gold across the forest floor. Oaks are slower and more patient. Their leaves are tougher, thicker, built to endure. As chlorophyll fades, they reveal pigments that lean toward tannins and darker anthocyanins, giving them their deep brown and russet shades. They are not the dazzling fire of a maple, but rather the quiet ember that lingers. Even when the forest is nearly bare, oak leaves may still be clinging, whispering that autumn is not yet entirely gone. Aspens and poplars are another wonder. Their leaves, filled with carotenoids, shine yellow in unison, entire groves shifting together. Because aspens grow in connected colonies, with roots linked beneath the soil, their change of color often happens at once. What you see as a golden forest is often, in truth, one great organism, changing together in harmony. And the evergreens, their needles hold on to chlorophyll year-round. The cold does not drive them into sleep in quite the same way. Their persistence reminds us that not all trees must surrender their green. Instead, they remain constant, guardians of the forest's memory, standing through snow and storm while their neighbors rest. So, the variety of autumn is not an accident. It is the outcome of each tree's nature, its chemistry, its history, its quiet strategy for survival. Together, these differences weave the forest into a living tapestry. One tree blazing, one glowing, one darkening, one holding green, each adding its note to the song of the season. As you walk through a forest in autumn, you're not only seeing colors, you are meeting the individuality of trees. Each species reveals itself most clearly now, when the green veil of summer lifts and their hidden pigments shine through. The maple is bold, dramatic, full of passion. Its leaves flare into crimson, as if declaring to the world, "See me before I go." There is something almost theatrical in the way a maple stands against the sky, aflame in scarlet light, then suddenly releasing its leaves in a final cascade. The birch is gentle, shimmering, like laughter in golden threads. Its leaves, small and bright, quiver in the breeze, turning whole groves into seas of yellow. There is humility in the birch, soft beauty that does not demand attention, yet catches the eye like sunlight on water. The oak is steady, patient, dignified. Its colors are deep, subdued, lasting long into the quiet months. Even as snow falls, the oak may keep some of its withered leaves, as though guarding memories of autumn until spring returns. The aspen is communal, never alone. It changes not leaf by leaf, but forest by forest, glowing gold in unity. There is something comforting about the aspen's voice, not one tree, but many, speaking together in harmony with the wind. And the evergreens, silent witnesses. They do not change their colors in the same way, but their presence makes the transformation more striking. Against their deep green, the fire of the maples, the gold of the birches, the bronze of the oaks, all appear more vivid. They are the quiet frame for autumn's masterpiece. When you see these colors, you're not only looking at pigments, you're seeing the character of each tree, expressed in its own way, some bold, some gentle, some enduring, some constant. Together, they form a portrait of diversity, reminding us that beauty often lies in differences. Perhaps this is why people feel such connection to autumn woods, because in their variety, we see a reflection of ourselves. The fiery spirits, the quiet souls, the patient hearts, the communities that stand together. The forest shows us that there is no single way to be beautiful, no single way to say goodbye. And so, when we step beneath these colors, we are not only witnessing a season, we are walking among personalities, meeting the trees as they truly are, revealed in their last and brightest moment of the year. It is easy as humans to think of autumn colors only as beauty for our eyes. A fleeting painting across the hillsides, a gift for wanderers on quiet paths. But for the trees, the changing of leaves is not a show, not a performance. It is survival, a crucial step in the great rhythm of their lives. Leaves in summer are powerful tools. They capture sunlight, transform into energy, and keep the tree alive and growing. But they're also fragile, thin, broad, easily damaged by ice, by cold, by the weight of snow. If trees kept their leaves through winter, many would break beneath the burden or lose too much water to survive the long months of frozen ground. So, as the days shorten, trees begin a gentle retreat. They draw nutrients back from their leaves, storing precious sugars and minerals in their trunks and roots. This process is called resorption, and it is like the tree gathering supplies for a long, quiet sleep. Once this is done, the leaves are no longer needed. The green fades, the pigments are revealed, and eventually the leaves fall, freeing the tree to endure the cold months safely. The colors we see, then, are not just decoration. They are signs of this careful preparation, a signal that the tree is closing down the machinery of summer, protecting itself for the rest ahead. In this way, autumn teaches us something important, that endings are not failures, but transitions, that beauty can appear even as things let go. The forest does not mourn the loss of its leaves. It prepares wisely for the return of spring. And so, when we marvel at the reds and golds, we are witnessing not only a wonder of color, but the quiet wisdom of trees, their way of surviving the cycle of the seasons, of thriving through change. As the days grow shorter, the tree begins to gather what it can. The green of chlorophyll fades because it is being dismantled piece by piece, so its valuable parts can be saved. Nitrogen, magnesium, and other elements locked inside the pigment are drawn back into branches, the trunk, the roots, like a family carefully packing supplies before a long journey. The tree stores what it will need to survive until spring returns. This is why leaves are not simply abandoned. They are emptied first, their riches carried inward. The golds, reds, and purples we see are not the tree's gift to us, but the colors left behind after its work is done. A palette painted on what remains, a beautiful sign that the essentials have already been secured. But there is more. By shedding its leaves, the tree reduces water loss. In winter, when the ground is frozen, water is scarce, and broad leaves would cause the tree to dry out too quickly. Without leaves, the tree rests, conserving its strength, its bark and buds shielded against the cold winds. There's protection, too, from weight. Imagine if a maple or an oak tried to hold its wide, fragile leaves through a heavy snow. The branches would break, snapped by the burden, by letting go. The tree spares itself this damage, standing bare but unbroken to the storms of winter. The leaf drop also has a gift for soil. Once the tree no longer needs its leaves, they drift to forest floor, where they slowly break down, returning nutrients to the earth. This cycle of falling and renewal enriches the ground, ensuring not only the tree's own survival, but also that of the entire forest community. So the importance of autumn's changes lies not in beauty alone, but in wisdom. It is a season of careful preparation, of gathering strength, of letting go for the sake of endurance. The trees are not dying. They are protecting themselves, waiting, patient and sure, for spring's gentle call. When we stand beneath a tree in autumn, it is easy to think only of what is ending, the leaves falling, the branches growing bare, the forest preparing for sleep. But in truth, what we see is not loss, but preparation, not decline, but resilience. Each leaf that changes color is part of a larger rhythm. First, the tree reclaims what it can, drawing strength inward. Then it releases what it no longer needs, letting go of what would only burden it through the cold. Finally, it rests silent and bare, conserving its energy until the world softens again. This wisdom is not only for the trees. It speaks quietly to us as well, that sometimes survival requires letting go, that beauty can exist in endings, that stillness is not emptiness, but the gathering of strength for what is to come. Imagine a hillside of oaks and maples, their leaves blazing against a cool sky. Beneath the surface, those trees are already safe, already storing their energy, already prepared for frost. The colors you see are a brief and wondrous trace of this hidden work, like the glow of embers before they settle into coals, like the final song of a day before night arrives. And when the leaves finally fall, the work is not over. The soil receives them. Insects and fungi stir within them. And in time they return as nourishment to the very trees that once released them. Nothing is wasted. The cycle is whole, the balance complete. For the forest, the importance of changing leaves is survival, yes, but it is also renewal, connection, and continuity. Each autumn links the present to the future, ensuring that spring will come not to a weakened forest, but to one ready to rise again in green. And so, the colors of autumn are not only for our wonder, they are the living proof of nature's wisdom, the quiet assurance that letting go at the right time is not an end, but the beginning of another season yet to bloom. When a leaf drifts gently to the ground in autumn, its story does not end. It is only beginning a new chapter. For though it no longer feeds a tree with sunlight, it still carries within it treasures, minerals, carbon, traces of life, that will soon return to the soil. Imagine walking through a forest after the leaves have fallen. The ground is soft, covered in a thick carpet of gold and brown. Beneath your feet, a quiet transformation is already beginning. Moisture seeps into the leaves. Fungi spread through their veins. Tiny insects begin to feed. Bit by bit, the leaf breaks apart, becoming less a leaf and more a part of the earth itself. This process is called decomposition, and though it works silently, it is one of the most important rhythms of the forest. The nutrients that once flowed in the leaf's green body are slowly released, return to the soil where roots can find them again. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all dissolve back into the earth. What was once a leaf will, in time, be drawn back up into the trunk, into a bud, into a new green leaf of spring. This is the cycle of nutrients, a perfect loop where nothing is wasted, and every ending is also a beginning. The falling leaves feed the soil feeds a tree, and the tree sends forth new leaves to catch the sun again. It is a rhythm that has continued for millions of years, quietly sustaining forests across the world. The cycle also nourishes more than just trees. Mosses, ferns, fungi, insects all depend on the richness that fallen leaves bring. A single leaf may shelter tiny lives as it rests on the ground, and as it decays, it becomes food, shelter, and soil all at once. So when you see a forest floor thick with autumn leaves, you are not looking at waste. You are looking at a treasure chest, slowly opening, slowly releasing its gifts. The quiet generosity of trees, giving back to the land that supports them beneath the forest canopy. The fallen leaves are more than just a blanket of color. They are a living bridge between seasons, between trees and soil, between life and life again. As leaves begin to break down, tiny fungi appear first, spreading their delicate threads through the damp tissue. They are nature's recyclers, dissolving the complex molecules within the leaf, unlocking sugars and minerals that were once hidden away. Bacteria join in, microscopic workers that continue the task, completing what the fungi begin. Together, these unseen communities transform brittle leaves into soft, fertile earth. The soil becomes richer with every passing autumn. Each layer of leaves adds new nutrients, ensuring that the forest does not exhaust itself, but replenishes year after year. Roots, stretching silently through the ground, find these gifts and draw them upward. The tree that shed the leaf may one day reabsorb the very same atoms, turning them once again into green growth, into blossoms, into fruit. But the cycle does not stop with trees alone. Insects nibble at the softening leaves, feeding on the bounty within. Earthworms carry fragments deeper into the soil, mixing and enriching it. Even larger creatures, like deer or bears, are indirectly nourished, for plants they depend upon grow strong from this replenished earth. And still, the cycle reaches further. The nutrients from fallen leaves feed not only the soil, but the air. For when trees grow stronger, when their leaves thrive in spring, they draw more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, returning oxygen for us to breathe. The leaf you see beneath your feet in autumn may, in a year's time, help cleanse the air you inhale on a summer morning. It is humbling to think that something so simple, a fallen leaf, could carry such weight, that its quiet return to the earth sustains not only the forest, but the balance of the planet itself. The cycle of nutrients is, at its heart, a reminder that in nature, nothing is wasted. Every ending carries the seed of renewal. Every falling leaf is a promise of spring. When we watch a leaf fall, it can feel like an ending, a soft farewell, as it drifts from the branch to the ground. But the forest does not see it this way, for the forest knows that every fall is also a return. The cycle of nutrients is a circle without beginning or end. Spring brings green leaves. Summer fills them with energy. Autumn draws the colors forth, and winter lays them down to rest. But beneath each stage, there is continuity. What falls will rise again. What is given returns. What seems gone is only transformed. This quiet recycling holds a beauty beyond the colors we see. It is generosity without demand. The tree does not cling to its leaves, but lets them go freely, trusting that they will come back in another form. The soil does not hoard what it receives, but passes it along to roots, to plants, to creatures that share the forest. Even decay, often thought of as an ending, is here revealed as creation, the making of rich earth from the fragile bodies of leaves. If you pause on an autumn path and kneel to lift a handful of leaves, you are holding more than fragments of a season. You are holding a story of return, of atoms that once danced in sunlight, that will in time rise again into branches and blossoms, a rhythm older than any forest, older than any mountain, older even in memory. There is a lesson in this cycle for us as well, that what we let go of may nourish us later in ways unseen, that giving and receiving are not separate, but part of the same flow, that endings can be gentle because they are never truly final. So when you see the forest floor covered in gold and brown, remember, you are not walking through loss, but through abundance, a harvest of nutrients, a quiet preparation for the next chapter of life. The cycle of nutrients is the forest's way of whispering to us. Nothing is wasted. Everything transforms. Life is never lost, only renewed. Autumn teaches us many lessons, but perhaps the quietest and most profound is this. Beauty is everywhere if we choose to notice it. The changing leaves with their golden, crimson, and purple hues are nature's gentle reminder that transformation itself can be beautiful, that endings, as much as beginnings, can inspire awe and calm. As you walk beneath a canopy of red maples or shimmering birches, there's a sensation that reaches deep into the body, a soft stirring of wonder, the kind that slows the breath, eases tension, and invites the mind to rest. Colors do this naturally. They speak to parts of us that words cannot reach. And the beauty of autumn leaves is not only visual, it is tactile, as you feel the crispness of a fallen leaf in your hand. It is auditory, as a soft wind rustles a canopy above, a quiet symphony of sound. It is even emotional, evoking memories, calm, and reflection on the cycles of life. Consider how each leaf is unique. Its veins, its shape, its pattern of color. No two are exactly alike, and yet together in a forest, they create harmony, a symphony of colors that is more than the sum of its parts, a reminder that diversity and individuality enrich the world. The trees, in their silent wisdom, allow us this gift. By letting their leaves change and fall, they show us that even the smallest, most fleeting moments can carry profound beauty, that the quiet, ordinary processes of life, photosynthesis, pigment production, nutrient cycling, can result in spectacles that touch the soul. Autumn leaves remind us that beauty is often fleeting. It exists in a delicate balance of light, temperature, and time. A bright red leaf may shine for only a few days before falling, and yet in that brief moment, it can captivate the eye and calm the mind. The impermanence of these colors encourages us to pause, to notice, to be present. There is a quiet meditation in walking through a forest of changing leaves, each step soft on the carpet of gold and amber, the gentle rustle underfoot, the sunlight filtering through branches, painting shifting patterns on the ground. Even the smell of earth and fallen leaves carries a soothing quality. All of these senses together create a lullaby of the natural world. In these moments, it is easy to feel a connection to something larger, to the cycle of seasons, the rhythm of the earth, the quiet patience of trees. We realize that life itself is full of transformation. That letting go, like leaves falling, is part of the process of growth and renewal. Beauty, in this sense, is not only in the leaf, but in the way we experience it, in the awareness it brings, in the calm it offers to a mind accustomed to hurry and noise. By observing the changing colors, by feeling their softness, by listening to the whisper of the forest, we participate in the gentle rhythm of nature. We learn to slow down, to breathe, to notice, and yet the beauty is not only personal. It connects us to the world around us. The shared experience of autumn, the way others may walk the same paths and marvel at the same colors, reminds us that these small wonders are part of a larger, shared existence. We are tied to the forest, to the cycles of life, to the quiet wisdom that guides trees, soil, and seasons. As we reach the end of our gentle exploration, let us pause beneath the forest canopy one last time. Imagine the golden light of autumn filtering through the branches, the crimson and purple leaves shimmering softly in the breeze. Each leaf, a story, each color, a quiet song, and the forest, whole and alive, reminding us of the beauty of change, the value of endings, and the gentle promise of renewal. We have seen how the seasons guide the trees, how pigments hidden in leaves reveal themselves, how sunlight and temperature shape their brilliance. We have discovered how different species bring their own colors and rhythms, and we have learned that falling leaves are not simply discarded, but return nutrients to the soil, sustaining the forest for the future. All of this is a reminder that beauty exists not only in beginnings, but also in endings, in letting go, in change, and in the quiet rhythms of life that continue even when we are not watching. So, as you sit or lie in the calm of your space, perhaps you can carry a little of this autumn forest with you, a sense of stillness, of presence, a quiet reminder that the world moves gently, patiently, and that even in moments of change, there is wonder. Thank you for joining me on this soft journey through the colors of leaves. May your night be calm, your mind at ease, and your dreams gentle. Good night and goodbye